Someone once asked me, was it hard for you to stop everything when you became a Muslim? And honestly, I thought about it for a while. It was funny because, back then, my mind was so influenced by the media. I used to cross the street if I saw a woman wearing a hijab in London. I didn't even realize how much the media had shaped my view of the world until I started my journey. But not everyone reacted the same way. My dad, I haven't spoken to him much since he moved to Australia when I was really young. He doesn't know that I've embraced Islam yet. My mom, though, she took it hard. I called her, and I was so nervous. I had no idea what she'd say. It was difficult for both of us. But when I told her, she was supportive. She just wanted the best for me. She knew I had been through a lot, and seeing her understanding was comforting. In those early days after embracing Islam, everything seemed difficult. I thought fasting, praying, and following the practices of Islam would be confusing and challenging, especially living in the UK during lockdown, feeling isolated. But over time, it became part of who I am. It wasn't as hard as I imagined. The more I practiced, the more natural it felt. It all started when I left my small town in the southwest of England and began traveling. I never thought I'd find myself in places like Pakistan or Turkey, let alone fall in love with them. I was in Istanbul when something shifted in me. I mean, the moment I saw the beauty in these countries, how kind everyone was, how warm the culture was, I knew there was more to this world than what I had been told. It was such a stark contrast to what I had always heard about Pakistan: terrorism, violence, war. But when I stepped foot there, I was blown away. People were so kind, so welcoming. The food, incredible. It completely shattered everything I thought I knew. And the same thing happened when I visited Turkey. I was in Istanbul, a city that changed my life in ways I couldn't explain. I even took my Shahada there. I remember standing in the Süleymaniye Mosque, and something just clicked. That moment, I realized what I had been searching for. It was the best decision I ever made, without a doubt. Before I embraced Islam, my life felt like it was missing something. I was an atheist, honestly. I didn't believe in a creator. I thought death was just the end. But after I entered that mosque and recited the Shahada, it felt like a weight was lifted from my chest. I had never felt so at peace in my life. It was the happiest moment I've ever had, and it changed everything. I remember telling my sister first. I was in Istanbul at the time, and I opened Snapchat, sent her a message, and said, "I'm a Muslim now." She was overjoyed. She knew what I had been through, the people I had met, and all the stories I had shared. She understood, and her happiness for me was overwhelming. I spent so much time learning, reading the Quran, watching videos, meeting people who could teach me. And when I began to understand Islam, I realized how misrepresented it was. I had fallen victim to the negative stereotypes too. But once I saw the truth for myself, I couldn't ignore it. Islam is a religion of peace, and it's all about love, compassion, and understanding. I've met some amazing people on my travels, and they taught me so much about the real Islam, away from the media's portrayal. That's why I want to share this truth with the world. On my YouTube channel and Instagram, I try to show the beauty of Muslim cultures, the food, the people, the traditions. I want to change the misconceptions, one story at a time. I hope to show people that Islam is not what the media paints it to be. It's much more than that. It's a life of peace, kindness, and respect. When people ask me what it's like to be a Muslim, I tell them it's the best decision I've ever made. But it wasn't always easy. I had to unlearn a lot of things, especially how I viewed Muslims. I had to open my mind, and when I did, I saw the world in a whole new light. As for my future, I'm not in a rush to get married. I have so much to explore, so many amazing people to meet, and so much of the world to discover. I still want to learn more about Islam and its beauty. Marriage can wait. Now, when people ask me about the challenges I faced, whether it was giving up things like alcohol or changing my lifestyle, I tell them it wasn't hard. I gave up alcohol long before I became Muslim. I stopped drinking in 2019, a year before I embraced Islam. The same goes for dating. I haven't had a girlfriend since I was 17, so that was never an issue. And pork. I haven't had that since I was about 10 years old. But there are still things I have to navigate, especially with the messages I get on social media. Every day, I receive messages from people asking me out or even asking me to marry their daughters. It's strange, honestly. I don't engage with those messages. I'm not planning to get married for a while. I still have a lot of self-discovery ahead of me. There's so much to learn and experience in this beautiful world. And you know, one of the most difficult questions I ever get asked is whether I prefer tea or coffee, especially here in Turkey. I love both, but if I had to choose, it would have to be tea. I can't upset the locals, right? In all seriousness, the one thing I want everyone to know, especially those who've heard so many bad things about Islam from the media, is this: don't listen to the media. Travel, meet people, experience the world for yourself. Go to Muslim-majority countries and talk to the people. You'll see that it's not what the news says. It's not the whole story. Islam is a faith built on love, peace, and understanding. And if I had just 1 minute to speak to the whole world, I'd say this: learn from your personal experiences, not from the media. Travel, talk to Muslims, and give yourself the time and space to truly understand Islam. What you see in the media is not the reality, and what you find when you take the time to learn will change your life.